Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then my name is Mama T. I'm also known as Amanda, and this is my pregnancy update. Another one. Can you believe it already? We're doing another one. It's just kind of flying by. Okay, so I am now 9 weeks pregnant, and that's just crazy that I'm already, 3 weeks away from heading into the second trimester already. It's just crazy. Anyway, let's get into the video, shall we? Okay, so I'm 9 weeks pregnant. Baby is now, where is it? Up there, the size of a grape, which I know grapes. It's about that big. It's about that big. Give or take. You know, grapes come in different shapes and sizes. But on average, that's kind of what size grapes come in. I've got my notes in front of me, as I always do, so if I keep looking down, apologies, I am actually looking at my notes. And as you can see, I have everything written up on my pregnancy board up here. I'm hoping that you can see it. Writing with the chalk sometimes doesn't come out as dark as you want it to, so I kind of really got in there with it today and tried to write it down. Anyway, highlights of the week. Baby's gender reproductive system is taking its place. So obviously on conception, the gender of the baby is already decided. So what happens this week is literally it's either gonna be a boy or a girl that's taking place. So you're either gonna have a little Louie or a little Willie. I was trying to think of a better way of saying that, but that's pretty much what it's gonna be. But yeah, that's the highlight of this week. So things start to take place and their body parts start to form in the means of gender. Oh, and now because obviously the uterus is around about the size of a grapefruit this week, then baby has a lot more room to kind of move around. And as it does have more prominent kind of arms and legs, not perfectly grown yet, but still on the way, they have a lot more room to kind of wave them around and wiggle around in there. So, you know, for me, obviously, I've always been quite in tune with my body. At this stage, I always kind of get butterflies in my tummy, and I always kind of think that maybe that is the baby rushing around in the water. But who knows? Who knows? You never know, do you? It could just be that I have wind, but you know, let's go with its baby moving around in the amniotic fluid. I like to think that. And what else? That's all the highlights for this week. Symptoms. Okay, so week 9 has been, how can I put it, pretty awful. I've been really, really, really sick. Not physically being sick, but kind of that feeling of sick to the stomach. Everything I eat, everything I drink just kind of makes me feel pretty awful. I've tried many different things to try and settle my stomach. I've stuck to eating bland foods. I tried to kind of up my game and headed into healthy eating with loads of fruit and vegetables, and no, that just didn't work for me. It didn't. It just kind of made my stomach feel pretty dreadful. So yeah, I mean, what else have I had? Like I said, I've got my notes down here. The dysgeusia, still don't know if that's the right pronunciation for it. But yeah, that metal taste, that bitter, horrible, yucky taste in your mouth is still very much there, and it seems to actually be getting stronger on some days. I did read that it could be that your body is trying to tell you that you're low in zinc. I haven't really spoken to anybody about that yet. I'm going to mention it to my midwife and see what she says. But I've been trying to include foods that have got, you know, zinc in them. It hasn't worked so far. Has not worked. So yeah, it's pretty awful. It is pretty awful. It's just made me feel quite gaggy. You know, everything makes me want to gag and reach and just feel really, really sick. It's just not nice. I really need to find a way of getting rid of it because it's just making me feel miserable. And you don't really want to go out of the house or have guests round because you're kind of sitting there talking to them like this, you know, with your double chin on. You're sitting here like that. And it's just not great. It's not great. It just makes you feel awful. Okay, so moods. I've been really moody this week. My husband will vouch for that. My mood kind of switches like that. I can be really happy one minute and then something will just kind of make me go quite quickly. And I'm quite so yeah, he's noticed that, and he kind of just says to me, go in the other room, go chill out, go and sit down, just go somewhere else other than here. Bless him. He's got to put up with it all, isn't he? It's a husband's job, you know. He's got to take what comes with pregnancy as well. We're going through the hard part. We're carrying the baby. We're growing the baby. They have to, you know, kind of deal with the moods and the cravings and the midnight trips to the shop to get pickled eggs. Is that a thing? Pickled eggs? Yeah. No, it is a thing, yeah. I think. Whatever. Anyway. One really big thing that I've had this week, my blood sugar levels dropped quite badly on one of the days, and I started to go into what a diabetic would call a hypo. Now my mum's diabetic, so I've dealt with them for years, although I didn't even spot myself going into it. I just started to feel very, very strange and very kind of in the room but not in the room, and it was actually my eldest son said to me, Mum, I think you need to check your sugar because you don't seem right. And I thought, obviously he helps me look after my mum, so he knows the signs and, you know, of everything that goes with diabetes. And he was very much right. My blood sugars had dropped significantly low. So I'm finding that I'm having to have smaller snacks throughout the day, just to kind of keep my blood sugar levels up, which is ironic really, because I was actually worried about my blood sugar levels going up rather than down. So yeah, that's something I'm going to have to speak to my midwife about when I see her, because yeah, I'm struggling to keep it up. And obviously I don't want to keep eating all the time, because weight gain is not something that I want, you know, to have a lot of. I don't want to gain so much weight that it puts me and baby at health risks. So yeah, that's something I've kind of got to sort out with my midwives. What else? I think that's all my symptoms for the week. I think it's just been a case of really moody, really miserable, really sick, and really low blood sugars. So I think that's pretty much it for symptoms. Oh, I've been really hot. Really, really hot. Not in the good way, obviously, you know. I know I'm hot, but yeah, I've been really, really hot. I was sitting, when I did, in my last midwife appointment, which was, when was it? It was actually, when was it? It was just before I turned 8 weeks. Yeah, it was just before I turned 8 weeks pregnant, and I'm now 9 weeks pregnant. I was actually sat next to her, and I was melting, and I kept saying to her, I'm so hot, and I'm sat there, I had all the windows open, everybody else is sitting there shivering, freezing cold, but I was just so hot, and it still continued. I'm sitting here with a jumper on right now because it is raining outside, it's freezing outside, but I'm melting, like literally melting. I've been so hot. So obviously I must be very hormonal. I'm still wondering if there's only 1 or 2 in there. I think it's only 1, but with all of the symptoms that I've had, they've been kind of more in my face than what they have been with my other pregnancies. So I'm wondering, is there a small chance that there could be another one in there too? Let's not go with 3. We don't do 3 or 4 or 5s. If I'm going to have multiples, let's stick with 2. Oh God, wouldn't that be funny? That wouldn't be funny. Would it be funny going to my first scan and finding out there was like 4 or 5 babies in there? Got palpitations already. Okay. No, I honestly think there's only 1 in there. But we shall see. You never know. Aversions. I can't eat anything sweet. I can't even chocolate. I love chocolate, but I can't eat it. It just makes me so sick. It makes this taste in my mouth 10 times worse. Cakes, sweet drinks, sugary tea, sweet fruit, sweet vegetables, anything, it just makes it worse. It makes me so sick. The nausea and sickness is just so awful, like so awful. It's just so awful. It gets worse in the evening as well. Morning sickness. Whoever invented that name, it's not morning sickness. It's kind of all day round, merging into the next day and the next day and the next day. It just doesn't ever go away. So morning sickness, that's a lie, people. It's all day sickness. But yeah, sweet stuff. I can't be having any of that. Again, anything potent. I said that in my last video. Anything that is really strong smelling, I can't deal with it. If there's anything cooking, we actually have a problem in our kitchen with our pipes and sewage and everything. Because we have like all the sewage drains out the front of our house, and for some reason they keep backing up, and the smell is just, oh my God, I can't even describe it to you. We're waiting for workmen to come and fix it, but it's just so potent, and every time I walk into my kitchen, it's just not a good scenario. I have to keep the windows open in my kitchen. It's horrendous. It would be for any normal person, but honestly, at this point in my pregnancy, when anything's making me feel sick, it's just horrendous. I can't even describe it. Excuse me, I keep belching. I know that was a really posh word. It was a posh word for burping. I was burping. I get a lot of that. Comes with pregnancy, doesn't it? What else? Yeah, I made cauliflower cheese, right? And I know this is probably a really random one to everybody, but I made a roast dinner, as I do every Sunday, and I actually found it really difficult this Sunday. I was making a sausage casserole, and I did a cauliflower cheese. I wasn't going to do cauliflower cheese, but everybody in the house kept saying to me, please, Mum, make me cauliflower cheese. They love it. I don't know what the big deal is about it, but they loved it. Anyway, so I made it, and the smells again were just like, couldn't bear them. But I was watching this cauliflower cheese cook in the oven, and it was getting crispy and it was getting yummy, and I was like, oh, can't wait to have this. Sat down to dinner, put a mouthful in, and oh my God, literally just, oh, how I didn't fall off my chair, I don't know. I was so ill. It just made my stomach turn so badly. It wasn't great at all. I couldn't stomach it. It took me about an hour to get through one plate of food because I just couldn't stomach anything that was on there. Yeah, so it's just kind of getting harder and harder to eat and finding things that I can eat because it just makes me very sick. So yeah, I've been having a lot of different random aversions, not to one particular thing, just random ones. For cravings, water. I always carry this thing around with me. I've always got fresh water in here. I actually buy bottled water, just the Tesco value 2-litre bottles of water, and I put it in the fridge, and I fill this up and put in ice in here. This is actually an 8-hour cool cup. It keeps fluids cold for up to 8 hours, and it can actually keep fluids hot for up to 8 hours. So you could actually have coffee or anything you want in this. preferably for me, I prefer cold water. But that's kind of, I've craved so much. I've been drinking a crazy amount of water lately. Salty foods. I'm still on salty foods. It's the only thing that I can kind of put in my mouth and not run for the bathroom. Again, I'm not physically being sick, but I get very, very close that I kind of have to stand in my bathroom until I know that I'm okay. But I've never had, I mean, I've had sickness in my pregnancies before, but not like this. I've never been this nauseated and this, you know, pit of the stomach kind of sick. I've never been this bad before. So it's definitely, there's definitely something different about this one. So my husband keeps saying to me, there's two. Oh, I think, do you know what? If I went to the scan and there was two, I'd be like really shocked. And I think I'd probably either cry or laugh like a crazy person. And ask them if they wanted to have one. See if I could give one to my mum. No, I'm joking. I think I'd be really, really over the moon, really shocked, really scared, but really over the moon. And I know it's something that I'd be able to handle. 6 children and twins on top. Yeah, it sounds really, really scary, but it's something I know that I'd be able to handle. But we will only know when we get our first scan, so only time will tell. But I do honestly think there's only one. We think. Okay, I'm gonna get off that subject because I'm gonna say it so much that I'm gonna end up wanting it to be twins, and then I'm gonna be gutted when it's not. So let's stop talking about it. I think what else have I got to tell you? Oh, our midwife. What have we done? We, in our package with our midwife, we weren't including blood tests and scans. We were doing that through the NHS, going to our local hospital. The scans we're still going to be having on the NHS, and we're going to be going to the hospital for those. But we have now changed our midwifery package, and our midwife is now going to be doing all my blood tests at home, including my GTT, the glucose tolerance test, testing for gestational diabetes. So that will be done at home. The only blood test that we have declined and do not want to pay for, because we do not want it, is the Harmony test, which is a blood test kind of giving you your percentages of the chances of your baby having Down syndrome. Now, the reason we have decided not to have this test is because to us, whether or not our child had Down syndrome, it would make absolutely no difference to us whatsoever. It would still be our child. We'd still love it unconditionally like we do the rest of them. We would still, you know, it would still just be our child. It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't make a difference. And I knew a woman called Anne. Kind of give me a lump in my throat there. I knew a woman called Anne that had Down syndrome when I was growing up, and she was a massive part of my life. You know, she lived across the road from my nana, and she was hilarious. She was loving. She was caring. She would hide under the blanket, jump out and go rah really loud. And I just loved her. And, you know, my husband's cousin has Down syndrome. His sister actually had Down syndrome, God rest her. Unfortunately, she passed away when she was very young. But it would not make any difference to us. People that have Down syndrome, who made the judgment that they had a mental health or a mental disability? Who made that up? Who came up with that? Because how do we not know that evolution took place and they're actually one step ahead of us? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, we're not really concerned about having that test. It would make no difference to us. And, you know, we're quite happy to find something like that out when our child will be born. and it's a bridge that we would cross when we got to it. The only thing that I would worry about was what I needed to do as a mother to give my child the best possible life they could have. That's it. Other than that, don't care. Not worried. Not worried at all. Makes no difference to us whatsoever. I know others may have their own opinions on that, but that's mine. It would still be my child. It is my child. It's already growing in there. I already love it. I love it so much. I don't like calling it it though. We call it Pops because I pop a lot. Anyway, I'm going to stop babbling now and I'm going to leave it there, and because this video is like already past 20 minutes. And yeah, if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell next to it, and you will get notifications every time that I post a video. So yeah, I love you all, and I will speak to you in the next one for 10 weeks. Oh my God, I can't even believe how quick this has gone. Anyway, love you.